And I'm the president of the Howard County Chamber, and like to welcome each of you to our Tuesday Affinity program update. One we've started recently is being able to really share a lot of the exciting benefits to being a member of the Howard County Chamber. Oftentimes people will know us for our various events. They'll know us for conferences, webinars, certainly our legislative activity. But one of the things also that is equally as important to membership is also the ability to save money on various goods and services and things that maybe you would have to purchase separately if you were not a member of the chamber. And so again, every other Tuesday, we have several invited guests to just share some of the different affinity programs that we have. And so today, we're excited to have with us the Maryland Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Maryland Department of Transportation. And specifically with the Maryland Chamber of Commerce, we are part of a federation where members of the chamber, particularly that are 10 employees or less, are able to get free membership through us with the Maryland Chamber. And so Whitney Harmel, who is Vice President of Membership and Development, will share a little bit about how that program works. And then we also have Gladys Hurwitz, who has an exciting program through the Maryland Department of Transportation that is, while a little bit different than obviously the relationship we have with the Maryland Chamber of Commerce, at the same time, it's another support program for employers in Maryland that are obviously trying to do right by their employees. And so, and Gladys is, again, multimodal transportation specialist. And so with that, I'm actually going to turn things over to Gladys to share a little bit about her program. And then following that, we'll hear from Whitney. So Gladys, the screen is yours. And let me actually just make sure that we've got screen sharing. So you should be good there.
Okay, and, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you again for that introduction, Leonardo. I really appreciate it. And thank you also for the opportunity to share information with everyone today regarding Commuter Choice Maryland. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with Commuter Choice Maryland, it is the Transportation Demand Management Program of the Maryland Department of Transportation that promotes alternatives to driving alone. As you can see in our list of alternative options, this can include anything from public transportation, biking, ride sharing, transit, walking, and teleworking. All of these options are important because they help Maryland reduce congestion, conserve energy, protect the environment, and improve the quality of life of all Marylanders. Commuter Choice Maryland has been around for over a decade and underwent a program update in 2018. During these past 2 years, we have refined the program focus, offerings, outreach, and continue to build partnerships. Commuter Choice Maryland also provides resources for commuters to help them determine the best commute option that suits their needs. Our updated website serves as a centralized resource for commuters who need information on transportation options, along with other valuable resources such as how to connect with a Maryland rideshare representative, information on guaranteed ride home, and how to find the best commute that works for you. Employer program services include information on how to get a commuter benefits program started or how to expand an existing commuter program. Marketing materials are also available as a free download to help employees with commuter options. We also provide technical assistance to participating employers who need help with commuter benefits, such as the Maryland Commuter Tax Credit, which I'll go into more detail later, and also transportation fringe benefits. We worked with the University of Maryland, Maryland Transportation Institute to develop a commuter calculator that can help commuters who may be driving into work by themselves every day and are open to considering a new commute with benefit estimates for choosing an alternative commute. So by inputting information such as your start and end locations, preferred departure time, number of days you commute, vehicle info, The calculator will actually determine how much money you can save on gas, vehicle maintenance costs, parking savings, and environmental benefits for various commute options for teleworking, biking, carpooling, etc. We're also finding that as many people start to plan for their commute back into the office, that this has served as a useful tool. Business toolkits has also been developed to help businesses in Maryland who are thinking about starting up a telework program, van pool, or a commuter benefits program. Many Maryland businesses shared that many of them were interested in offering these options, such as telework, but didn't know where to start, so we developed these resources. The telework guide has been a particularly useful resource during the pandemic and includes information on the benefits of telework, what to include in a telework policy, sample telework agreement, technology considerations, and other additional resources. All of these toolkits are available on our website for free. We also offer webinars on a regular quarterly basis. Many of our webinars have been focused on commuter benefits, business tax credits, how to implement commuter benefits, and Maryland business best practices with commuter benefits. Webinars are a great way to get information that you need quickly in a short span of time, and all of our webinar recordings are available on our website for viewing. Many Maryland agencies and companies during the pandemic had to quickly plan for working remotely or adjust their remote work plans and policies to accommodate for remote work full-time. We administered lunch and learn webinar sessions on reflections of remote work during COVID-19, lessons learned from Maryland businesses of varying industries to provide support and inspiration during the pandemic. We heard from Macedo Consulting, a small business who shared a small business owner's reflection on teleworking during the pandemic. Retina Group of Washington, an ophthalmology medical practice, who shared how their business had to shift the paradigm for telework. The Metropolitan Washington Council of Government shared their regional perspective of telework during and post-pandemic. And the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association shared information and provided insight on their work-life balance program, which includes telework. Let us know what you'd like to hear about next. Please reach out to us anytime with your thoughts. We continue to look for more businesses and organizations to highlight for best practices in our newsletters and website. Past businesses that we have highlighted included the University of Maryland, Yakabad, Live Casino and Hotel, SMECO, IOPA, and Morgan State University. If you'd like to be highlighted or like to make a recommendation, please contact us. We'll be sharing our contact information at the end of the presentation. Businesses throughout the state have shared that many of these stories have been inspirational to them, especially as they start to think about post-pandemic commutes for their employees.
Gladys, Leonardo, just a quick question, just to maybe reiterate something here. For these, as an example, for the companies here that are located, and when you talk about highlighting, the big thing is to share if they're doing something perhaps that's special or innovative as it relates to alternative transportation modes, or looking at, again, different ways in which we're getting cars off the streets, on which they're encouraging commuter choice. So businesses shouldn't just reach out to MDOT for the sake of, hey, we've got this new great product, but specifically as it relates to transportation and commuter alternatives and so forth.
Yes, exactly. Like a lot of the stories we've been hearing are mostly different things that businesses and organizations are providing for their employees. But a lot of the efforts they're not all large scale. Some of them are really small efforts, which I think still really goes a long way. So a lot of those stories can still be told. So we're definitely open to a wide range of thoughts and ideas regarding that. A lot of our outreach is done virtually through various social media platforms. We have a new LinkedIn business page and a Facebook page to provide you with great Commuter Choice Maryland news, resources, tools, and content. We recently launched a 30-day Telework Warrior Challenge with paid boosts, and we're able to get visibility by over 1,000 plus people on Facebook, which is great. We also have regular telework tips of the day on our various social media platforms. Our partners around Maryland also reshare a lot of this information to their viewers. We also administer a quarterly newsletter with a reach of about 8,700 plus subscribers, and the list continues to grow daily. If you have a commuter best practice that you would like promoted, please reach out to us by tagging us in a post and or sending us a message with details regarding the opportunity. Lastly, we wanted to share great incentives and benefits available as a commuter benefit, such as the Maryland Commuter Tax Credit, where Maryland employers may claim a tax credit for 50% of eligible costs of providing commuter benefits, such as transit fares, van pools, cash in lieu and parking, and company paid guaranteed ride home. Transportation fringe benefits is another really great option where up to $170 can be taken out of an employee's paycheck as a pre-tax deduction to pay for transit, van pools, or parking. Businesses have shared that they continue to provide these options because it helps them with employee retention and recruitment, which can be very costly, and it has also helped to improve their business bottom line. We have representatives who can provide you with technical assistance as you navigate through these various incentives and benefits. Thank you again for your time. We continue to seek partnerships and opportunities to work together. So please contact us anytime and we'll be happy to assist you with your commuter needs. And Leonardo, are you taking questions now or later, Ms. Leonardo?
I probably will come back in just a short while. But I guess one question I do have, the commuter choice, well, the email address that's here, does that go to you or is that a departmental email? So that way no one is necessarily not looking for one specific person, but rather just anyone there that can assist them? Yes,
this is a department email.
Okay.
So if they send any type of questions there, a staff person will assist them.
Okay, all right, excellent. Well, thank you for sharing
this,
Gladys. And so we'll be back
You're welcome.
Shortly if we have some questions. And then, but in the interim, we are going to now get ready to transition to Whitney Hormel. And Whitney is the, again, going back, Whitney is with the Maryland Chamber of Commerce, and we partner greatly with the Maryland Chamber on a number of public policy efforts. And in fact, one of Whitney's colleagues will be joining a panel with us this coming Thursday as we talk about the upcoming legislative session. And so we do a lot of work, again, collaboratively with the Maryland Chamber. And so next, Whitney's going to share again about the federation agreement and partnership that we have with the Maryland Chamber, and particularly how we can assist our small business members. And so Whitney, the screen is yours.
Leonardo, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. If you can send over the screen, that would be great. Or I can just maybe take it. Give me just a second. I have just a
you
few.
You can just take it.
Awesome, thank you. Appreciate that. So I have just a few things to show you on our website today. And just to circle back on what Leonardo said, the Maryland Chamber of Commerce has a great relationship with the Howard County Chamber, with Leonardo and his team. And they have been critical in helping the Federation to not only get off the ground, but to be successful. And so first, I just want to define what is the Maryland Chamber Federation. It is a group of chambers and associations across Maryland who have come together to form a strategic partnership to help with our advocacy efforts in the chamber world and in the business world. And so it is a group of 24 chambers and associations that have come together to help small businesses. And so simply looking on your screen now is some information about the Federation itself. And what I want to share with you is that we have great partnerships across the state. And if you look at the different counties, as well as especially Howard County right there in the center of the map, These are our partners across the entire state. And small businesses make up about 93% of the businesses in Maryland. And we know that business owners are spending their time, working the business, working to be successful. They're not necessarily in Annapolis lobbying on behalf of business interests. And so the Federation was really formed in order to give small businesses a voice in Annapolis. And Leonardo and his team do a great job of keeping up with legislative issues, both through the Maryland Chamber and through some of their local partnerships that they have. And this is an opportunity for businesses with 10 or fewer full-time employees who are a paying and active member of their county chamber that's in our federation to have a free membership up to the Maryland Chamber. And so what does that mean? You have several benefits, and I'm just going to scroll down here for just a moment, that you can see here. And so our starting membership is at $750, but any member of the Howard County Chamber that has 10 or fewer full-time employees is automatically a member of our federation. So you are considered a free member of the Maryland Chamber of Commerce. You are able to attend our events at the membership rate. Your business gets listed in our directory. And you also have access to our, what we call our bill tracker. Again, this is a way for businesses to keep up to date on what's happening with the Maryland Chamber's advocacy during the legislative session, which here in Maryland is typically the second week in January. So the first week in April, it's a 90-day session. And when you're a member of the Federation and you have a login through the Maryland Chamber's website, you are actually able to see our bill positions. And so this is an opportunity for small business owners to better understand what we are advocating on in Annapolis. We typically advocate on approximately 100 bills per year of the anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 bills that are introduced in the legislative session. The Maryland Chamber has 2 internal lobbyists that are advocating on behalf of business issues. And we are actually the only statewide business advocacy organization in Maryland. And so with this, you are able to see, and I'll just scroll through a little bit here, our policy committees will determine should we monitor a bill or should we actually take a position? And if so, what is that position going to be? So there are just several examples here. And this is kept up to date weekly, if not daily, during session by our team here at the Maryland Chamber. So this is a great resource if you are a federated member. Another option to look at are some of the resources that we have for all of our members, federated and regular members. And one thing I wanted to point out here is our 2021 legislative priorities. We work very closely with our membership as well as our legislative committee, which is our overarching committee, to put together the priorities, what we believe, and priorities and critical issues, that we believe will be very imperative for businesses in the next session. So it's available as a resource here. And then also under our advocacy tab, you can see some additional historical documents. Let me go actually to the 2020 session. There are some additional historical documents in here if you'd like to read on what we advocated in previous years, as well as what the bill tracking was in previous years. So a lot of resources on the website. My team is here to help you. When you join the Howard County Chamber as a small business, you are automatically included in the Federation. Leonardo and his team are great about getting us the information, but if you wish to get active and engage with us immediately, you can do so by reaching out to our team. And oftentimes during session when we're doing our grassroots advocacy and we're working to get small businesses to the table to testify, we very strongly turn to our federated partners and our federated members to get a coalition of small businesses to advocate on an issue. And so there's absolutely an opportunity for your federated members as well. And Leonardo, if you have any thoughts and feedback on your partnership with us, I'd love to have a conversation and just talk to your members about it.
Yeah, so thank you. I think we've had a really good relationship. And again, I think, we lean on the Maryland Chamber. And like you mentioned, the fact that, you have two dedicated staff that are in Annapolis. And for those that may not know, the Maryland Chamber's office is around the corner from the State House. And so they're certainly able to attend a number of different hearings and meetings much quicker than many of us that would have to actually drive to Annapolis. And so that's certainly a great benefit there. A couple of questions that I could easily see maybe some people wanting, and obviously I know this is on the page that you have showing on the screen right now, but I guess the first would be in terms of participation in events. So, and again, this is a full membership. So if someone joins us, are they able to attend, the various Maryland Chamber events just like they would attend our events?
Yes, absolutely. So with COVID, we've had more online programming, as I think most people have, virtual programming and learning, and providing resources, information via webinars. All of that can be signed up through our website for our federated members. We also are still having some paid events. We'll see how that all develops in the next year, but all of your federated members would receive the membership rate, Leonardo.
Okay. And then the other thing, I guess, is there anything that perhaps they can't do, I guess, as a federated member through us, than if, say, for instance, they join the Maryland Chamber directly, so to speak, meaning if they went to your site and just clicked on join now?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we always encourage that local businesses join their local chamber first and foremost. We want that to be an absolute priority, to join your community chamber. And so, if they've joined Howard County and they're getting a lot of benefit out of that, and they feel like stepping up to the Maryland Chamber, stepping into the Maryland Chamber to be involved in more advocacy, then we are absolutely the place to be. And currently, federated members are not eligible to participate in our different policy committees. So we have 10 policy committees that are reviewing the policy weekly or the bills weekly during session. And so federated members are not able to do that. If you actually join the Maryland Chamber as a full member, then people are able to join those policy committees. But the nice thing is, Leonardo, you serve on so many of our committees, and with the partnership is you're getting a lot of that information. And the idea here is oftentimes our federated partners, such as Leonardo, are bringing that information and that value back to those small businesses who maybe don't have the time or aren't ready to participate legislatively.
No, that is correct. I mean, I sit on the Maryland Chamber's Legislative Affairs Committee. Mm-hmm. And then also, I think our chair or co-chair of our Legislative Affairs Committee ends up working with the Maryland Chamber because of her affiliation with Maryland SHRM, and she chairs their legislative affairs efforts. And so ultimately, you end up getting our reach and involvement in the Maryland Chamber in a couple of different ways.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. I guess maybe, Whitney, anything else maybe you'd like to share before I circle back maybe to Gladys for a couple of follow-up questions with her?
Yeah, I think just in general, this is a model. The federated partnership is a model that we have taken as a best practice from other states across this country who just have really strong partnerships. And the idea here is that when we go to lobby on behalf of businesses in Maryland, we're doing it and we're talking to legislators on behalf of 5,000 plus members, and not 500 members of the chamber. So we believe that advocating as a collective is much stronger, and so we just appreciate all of the small businesses being members of Howard County Chamber and other chambers across the state, and getting behind us in our advocacy and our grassroots efforts. And I just really appreciate the opportunity to talk to your membership today.
Thank you. And just one thing that I will touch on is that, when I was president of the DeKalb Chamber in DeKalb County, Georgia, we had a federation agreement. I don't even know if we used the term federation, but basically that's what it was, with the Georgia State Chamber. And so that was certainly, I think, my first introduction to it. And it was a major help to us. So when Christine Ross, who's the CEO of the Maryland Chamber, was talking about implementing it here, I was one of those early adopters because I could see the benefit both for our members as well as for us as an organization. And I think for the Howard County Chamber, that's the one thing, as well as my other colleagues, that we're always trying to do, is to continue to add value for our members. Again, whether it's via information, whether it be helping get you connected to individuals and people and contacts, but ultimately continuing to add value. So Whitney, thank you for joining us, and certainly we'll continue to be in touch in the days ahead, especially as January 2021 quickly is quickly approaching. So Gladys, just a couple of questions that I guess kind of came in on this end for you, and that would be the first, kind of talk a little bit about maybe some of your outreach and newsletters, meaning I know that sometimes companies are looking to do things for their employees, and maybe this is something they want to sign up for, but they perhaps don't really know exactly kind of what it means, or they don't know where to start. They just know that, oh, this sounds like a benefit. So any advice there in terms of kind of getting started, and maybe how the newsletters that you send out work in terms of giving them ideas, in terms of things for implementation and so forth?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and it's something that we normally get from a lot of employers throughout the state who are maybe starting out and are unsure about where to get started. And my suggestion would be to go on our website, COMMUTERChoiceMaryland.com, and to just peruse it and see what sort of resources are available there. There's one of the pages is dedicated to our rideshare coordinators and TDM specialists. So you can actually find a TDM specialist within your county and connect with them. And what a TDM specialist will do is they will listen to what your needs are, what your situation is, where you currently are with your commuter needs at your business. They can help you administer a survey, a commuter survey. So what some businesses do is they start out with a short survey just to get a sense of what sort of commuter options are of value to their employees. So, for example, they're not going to offer transit options and benefits if most of their employees are taking van pools into work or driving by themselves and they don't live close to, let's say, a transit option. So there's really a lot of value and importance to starting out with something like that short survey. And what that rideshare coordinator, TDM specialist can do also is come up with some recommendations for them and even create a customized transportation plan, which is something new for this fiscal year that they're all equipped to do. And it's a really great way for somebody to analyze your survey results for you, put into a nice plan, and it's really something that you can even bring to leadership. So that's one thing. And what was your second question, Leonardo?
I think it was just also the newsletter.
Oh,
frequency.
The newsletter. So the newsletter is administered quarterly with the changing of the seasons. So we recently just released our fall one. And it has a plethora of information from what some of our MDOT offices are doing to address COVID. We usually start with that because right now with the pandemic, that's certainly been a priority message. And then we go into a lot of the different offerings that our program offers, and also what our partners offer. And when I mean partners, I go back to some of our TDM specialists. So we've been doing these spotlights where each TDM specialist is highlighted and you get to know them on a more personal level, to get to know a lot of different resources and things that they offer. And it goes into also some other happenings with some neighboring agencies in Maryland. And that may include some small businesses. You know, we have some small businesses reach out and say, hey, you know, we are hosting this public event. It's a great webinar, or, you know, these different things happening. Is this something that you could maybe put on your calendar for us that the public can attend? So we're certainly open to those you know, those types of collaborative opportunities. And if anybody wants to sign up for our newsletter, you can actually do that online. When you go on our website, when you input your information, you're automatically signed up.
Excellent. And just one more question, and that was, so your presentation talked about, I guess, some commuter tax credits. And I think that was something that was maybe new for me. And so it looks like there, I guess, maybe a couple of different alternatives. One is for the employer, and then one is for the employee, I guess, for them to be able to use, where I guess they would have dollars taken out pre-tax, I guess similar to like a flex spending account. If you could kind of talk just a little bit about those two efforts and how, again, it benefits the employer, I guess, tax credit wise, as well as the employee, if they wanted to have some type of deduction taken out for parking or other alternatives.
Okay, great. So I guess I'll start with the transportation fringe benefit. This is a very common benefit that many federal employees are taking advantage of, and also a lot of corporations throughout the country. It's a national tax credit. And the amount used to be $260 per month, and actually went up by $10 the start of this year. So you're absolutely spot on with that, where you could treat it as a flexible spending account, something that's pre-taxed out of your paycheck. So if you have an employee who's taking transit, van pool, or they also pay for parking, we like to advertise it as parking that you would pay to maybe hop on a transit option, like a lot of our train stations, for example. But it doesn't necessarily have to be for that. It could just be for parking expenses. That could actually be taken as a pre-tax deduction from an employee's paycheck, which is a great help. And the Maryland Commuter Tax Credit, it's not a new tax credit. It's been around for over a decade, I believe. And we currently have employers throughout the state of different industries participating in it. And they love this option because it gives them the opportunity to package as a benefit, maybe as part of their employee benefits package, that they offer this Maryland Commuter Tax Credit, where there's a couple different ways you can tailor it. So one could be the employer, I'm just going to use transit as an option. The employer subsidizes the transit fare completely, maybe a monthly pass for an employee. They could actually take a deduction of up to $100 per employee for paying for that monthly transit pass. Or they could do 50-50, a percentage where the employee pays for 50% of the transit pass for the month and the employer pays for 50%. But then again, the employer benefits because they could take that $100 tax credit, and the employee benefits because they get that 50% benefit from the employer picking up the tab. So those are just a couple of examples, and it's a little more broad than the transportation fringe benefit, where it covers cash in lieu of parking and company guaranteed ride home. Cash in lieu of parking, this is something that's very common, more commonly used in urban downtown areas, for example, where parking can be expensive. So if an employer provides a dedicated paid parking spot to an employee, and that employee then goes, hey, I want to opt out of this parking space because I'm actually taking transit every day to work, or I'm biking to work every day. That employer can then give that employee, let's say $100 for not taking that parking space. And that parking space may be $200, $300 a month or more. And then the employer then can take the $100 tax credit, but then the employee benefits because they get that $100 cash in lieu of parking. So it's really great because everybody wins with that one. And then company guaranteed ride home. This is where I give you a really great scenario where you have an employee who may have to work unscheduled overtime, and their only way to commute to work was maybe by van pool or transit or any other way but driving to work. And because of this unscheduled overtime, it's really difficult for them to get back home, right? Maybe transit isn't working at those odd hours at night. If the employer were to pay for an Uber or Lyft or a taxi ride for that employee to get home, they could actually keep tabs of that amount and claim a tax credit for that company-sponsored guaranteed ride home, which is different from the Maryland Department of Transportation Guaranteed Ride Home program, which is a free program to all commuters who take those alternative modes of travel to get up to 4 free emergency ride homes a year. So that's a separate thing. But yeah,
Excellent.
that's kind of
Well,
the gist of it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Certainly pretty comprehensive and so forth. And so really with that, I want to just thank you, Gladys, as well as Whitney for sharing with us about the Maryland Chamber and as well as the MDOT commuter options. And the one thing, hopefully, that those of you that are participating or that will end up watching this on demand is that you'll see that certainly with the Howard County Chamber, we're committed to bringing you value and bringing you a number of different resources that can assist you in the day-to-day operations of your business. So whether that's saving money through your affiliation with us in the Maryland Chamber, or if that's also giving you some additional resources to support your employees through commuter options, through MDOT, certainly that is what the Chamber is about. And so with that, we'll see you in a couple of weeks for our next session. But with that, thank you again for all of your continued support and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.